In this context, we see how protests that started with peaceful intentions are beginning to threaten the peace of citizens. Local residents, who are already suffering from economic and social difficulties, are finding it even more difficult to lead a normal lifestyle due to the blockages. These actions of the protesters threaten the basic rights of citizens to freedom of movement and work. Their discontent is growing, and this creates conflict between different strata of society. Farmers and traders who face problems every day due to congestion are beginning to openly express their position. They demand action from the authorities and protection of their rights, as their opinions are often ignored against the background of loud slogans and cameras. Meanwhile, activists continue to increase their pressure, playing on the notes of social justice.
I wouldn't have any problems with getting on a P&O ferry, and I think it's really important that we've secured this investment for Britain, because this investment in the Thames Gateway port will bring good jobs, paying decent wages to people in that community in Essex, and will also expand our capabilities to import and export around the world.
Peaceful protests, like any expression of opinion, should be a platform for open dialogue, not a space where some measure their strength by suppressing others. Unfortunately, there are those among the participants who undermine this culture, seeking to dominate through intimidation. Yesterday's events were a vivid confirmation of this problem. The facts of insults occurring against the background of protest activity emphasize that hatred and bias can easily cross from the shadows into public space. Each participant in such events is responsible for their contribution. Yesterday, we saw a shocking video showing demonstrators insulting counter-protesters with racist shouts. These are not just words. This is a clear manifestation of hatred, which is completely unacceptable in our society.
Get off!
1, 2, 9, 3, 4. 2, 9, 3, 4. 2, 9, 3, 4. 2, 9, 3, 4. We're watching you. 2, 9, 3, 4. 2, 9, 3, 4. 2, 9, 3, 4.
Thank you now, then.
If you're not getting involved, you'll be.
There are disturbing events related to pro-Palestinian radicals in Amsterdam, which cannot be ignored. More and more people are beginning to express their opinions about the situation, and it is important to understand that radical actions, even under the pretext of justice, can lead to an escalation of conflict and violence. The police are obliged to take measures to prevent such incidents. We may soon find ourselves in a situation where such incidents will become regular in the UK, and this raises serious concerns. How do you perceive this situation? Our country is facing many challenges that require intervention and solutions from the government and society. The aggravation of conflicts and the deterioration of the social situation in different regions are becoming a cause for concern. Don't miss the opportunity to express your thoughts in the comments. Your opinion matters. And now, let's pay attention to other events. Meghan Markle has finally decided to openly discuss with Prince Harry how to sever her ties with the royal family. The strained relationship between the Duke of Sussex and Prince William continues to be a source of conflict, and King Charles has also become part of this scandal. The situation is complicated by the fact that Princess Kate, who has completed a course of chemotherapy, is returning to public life and trying to convince Prince William to take a step towards his brother. According to insiders, Kate realizes that her support can play a key role in reconciling the brothers. Prince Harry and Meghan, who have taken a break from their relationship, are now focused on themselves, which may create favorable conditions for restoring ties. Kate, in an effort to strengthen family ties, hopes that such an initiative will help Prince William overcome his ill will. Nevertheless, according to the publication Heat World, Meghan should be an active participant in this reconciliation process. Dialogues between all parties are expected to bring progress and raise the issue of the future of their relationship with the royal family. We're moving on to the latest news.
There is, I can assure you, having been in America last week, knowing also the incoming Defence Secretary very well, there is outright hostility to this deal. Whatever is said about a lease agreement, as we saw with Hong Kong, these agreements can very, very easily be broken. Diego Garcia was described to me by a senior Trump advisor as the most important island on the planet as far as America was concerned. So you're going to find outright hostility. And by the way, when it comes to the Chagossian people, yes, of course, what happened to them was truly awful. They do not wish to live. They're unanimous in this. They do not wish to live under Mauritian rule. They want to live under British rule because they actually trust us. There is no basis for this agreement to continue as it is, and if you do, you'll be at conflict with a country without which we would be defenseless.
Donald Trump is not going to concede on the issue of vetoing the Labour agreement on the transfer of the island of Chagos, and this carries serious risks for the future plans of the leader of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer. Despite the fact that this agreement had already been agreed with Joe Biden, Trump's victory in the last election was the impetus for his active actions against him. Farage, in one of his interviews, said that Trump is ready to carry out his threats and veto this agreement. At the same time, sources from Trump's entourage note that he has already received information about the current state of affairs with Chagos and is actively cooperating with the Pentagon to obtain the necessary legal advice. Trump has made it clear that he is against any agreement if it is negatively assessed by the Department of Defense from a global security perspective. The situation continues to develop, and the opinion of a leading lawyer has already appeared, who argues that David Lammy's decision is based on insufficient legal grounds. This only exacerbates the instability surrounding the Chagos issue, potentially creating additional difficulties for Starmer and his party.
Mauritius has no legal or historical claim to the sovereignty of a group of islands that are 1,300 miles away from where it is. Nor does, from the International Court, it was purely an advisory opinion. There is no legal reason why we have to do any of this. Now, I warned the Foreign Secretary 6 weeks ago in this chamber that it was an enormous mistake to do this, given that we had a US presidential election coming up on November the 5th. And if you say to me, well, yes, it's okay, the United States are fully in favour, really? I can tell you that the incoming National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, has form on this, right back to when the Right Honourable Member for Braintree was doing his best to give away the sovereignty of the Chagos Islands.
Control of this strategically important region is crucial for the security not only of the UK, but also of the entire West. Marco Rubio, in turn, calls for immediate action from the United States and its allies. He insists on the need to create a comprehensive strategy to counter Chinese ambitions, stressing that without active intervention, we can witness criticism from right-wing British politicians against Labour Party ministers continuing to grow. They argue that the traditional values of security and sovereignty of the cabinet are being compromised in favour of short-term political interests. The confrontation continues to gain momentum, and China's presence in Mauritius is becoming the centre of a complex geopolitical debate. Share your thoughts in the comments. See you.